All right, it's 2:28, and as usual, it's very early. Just woke up, got my coffee, getting ready for work. Man, these mornings, I tell you what, I like to do these videos before I go to work because I can't just, I'm not one of those people that can just wake up. Like, my wife can hop out of bed and go. And it takes, I need like a pot of coffee. Tried training in the morning. Oh man, that's rough. I don't know how you guys do it. It'd be better. It'd be better to wake up and train and then get my day done. I just can't, man. I just can't. So, what are we doing? My favorite training. I love it. When I have days off, I like to just spend, if I have time to myself, which is rare, I just like to spend a couple hours just stretching and hitting the bag. And my stretching sessions, a lot of this is cut out. I truncate a lot of it. But it's actually about an hour long, and I just take my time, and I stretch. Like I was saying the other day, a guy asked me how flexible I was, and I told him I'm not at all, and I am a lot. What does that mean? Well, if I take the time and I warm up, I can almost get into the splits. I can kick pretty high. I can do a lot of stuff. But if I'm cold, like say if I was to hop out of the bed and try to do something like that, I would wind up in the hospital. That's exactly what happened. You know, if I'm doing like body squats, and I just decide to drop down and get in the ass to grass position, that first one hurts. So today I'm working on power. I found a bunch of tutorials on YouTube, and I wanted to try to follow along with them. And really what they're doing is they're breaking down the body mechanics in its individual components, starting with foot movement, waist, shoulders, arms, everything. And what I'm trying to do, I've been watching all of these videos that I've made where I'm striking the bag and whatever, doing whatever. And I'm trying to figure out where I'm mechanically wrong. And I honestly thought, you know what, I've got the time. I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to start from beginner 101, from the feet, and just work my way up until I can figure out where it is that I am leaking power. And I'm really, really happy with today's training, man. I'm hitting that bag hard. I'm like, dude, I'm cracking ribs. Absolutely. Like, by the time I got, I must have thrown, I don't know, 500 kicks today. And once I got in the groove and I got it figured out, you know, I'm up on my toes and rotating the hips properly, I was hitting that bag effortlessly, and any one of those strikes would have taken someone's leg out easily. I was really happy with today's training, very happy moving forward. I think what I'm going to do after this powerlifting meet, I'm going to dedicate a solid 2 or 3 months to just this type of training. I'll do maintenance lifting so I don't lose any strength, or, you know, kind of try to maintain a reasonable strength level. So I'm never going to like stop lifting. I'm going to drop maybe 10, 15 pounds, get a little bit lighter on the knees. When I used to compete at 198 weight class, and now I'm in the 220. So dropping down is not a big deal. Like, I don't mind losing a little bit of weight. That's where I've been for the last 10 years. It's only been the last few years that I've put on, you know, an extra muscle and worked up to that 220 weight class. So I don't mind being lighter. Interesting. My doctor told me that for every 10 pounds every 10 pounds you lose, it's like 100 pounds off of your knees. So for you bigger guys, you know, you have knee problems or joint problems, just losing 10 pounds, it will significantly reduce the amount of pain and stress on your joints. And that's, like, for me, that's the main reason why I don't blow up. When, you know, I was getting ready for this powerlifting, everybody told me, you want to get your bench up, you want to get all your numbers up, put on some weight, you know, blow up. It'd be super, super easy for me to get up to 250 pounds. I can shoot it right up there. I can eat, train, no problem getting bigger. But the problem is like, you know, at 49, 50, that you really have to consider the amount of weight you're carrying around is hard on the joints. And if you've gotten to this age and you are 100% injury free, which is rare unless you've lived in a hole, chances are you've got some joint issues somewhere. So keeping that weight off really, really makes a huge difference. I mean, we're just talking like daily quality of life stuff. It's really awesome to carry around the mass. You know, you love walking in the room. Everyone's like, whoa, look at this weirdo. But, you know, for day-to-day stuff, like walking around job sites, yeah, I don't know, man. Sometimes I'd rather just stay where I'm at. So that's the main motivation for me staying at the weight class I'm at. Now that I spent the last 30 minutes working on my side kicks, and I'm super happy with how hard I was hitting the bag, it's easy to transition into knees because the hip movement is the same. You do the step forward with your foot to the side so you can turn your hips into it, and that way you throw your waist into it, and that's where you generate all your power from. And that's kind of where I was getting it wrong. I don't think I was turning my hips properly. And people have been telling me that for months. Rotate your hips more. Rotate your hips more. I was trying to solve that problem by stepping into it more, which is part of the equation. But I was doing so with a boxed stance, so I was facing the bag. You want to start with the hips to the side, so when you step, it throws your hips, and that rotates your leg, and that's where you get all your power from. And huge noticeable difference. What I did is to make my bag stationary. A lot of guys will tie their bag up to a wall or something. I don't have that option, so I took my flat bench and put it behind my bag, and then just pile a bunch of plates on top of it, which just keeps it from moving. And under normal conditions, that's adequate. But I was hitting it hard, and I was just knocking those plates right over and just moving that bench, no problem. And that every time I knocked it over, I was like, yeah, baby. I mean, think about it. Like, what's that doing to someone's... You're just tenderizing someone, you know what I mean? So here again, I'm breaking down... basically starting from the feet and working my way up. I'm doing what's called shift drills, which works on rotating, and then from there we have the waist, and you accelerate, and then from there, like you'll see me hitting the bag with rigid arms, and that's designed to work on striking with the shoulders, doing drills like that, and then after I do all those drills working into the strike, and I do the full strike, you'll see how much more power and acceleration I'm getting from previous videos. I watched these and I compared them to some older ones, and I'm hitting the bag way harder with way less effort, and it's taking way less energy. The other cool thing about this training was I was able to go for almost 3 hours, and I didn't get tired, hardly. You know, when I was setting my timer and doing those drills, I would get a little winded, but this conserves so much more energy, which is what I need, because eventually my goal is I want to do like a 1 or 2 round, and right now that would kill me. I don't have the lungs for it. There's no way I would make it through 2 rounds, not even close. That's the hardest thing about this whole thing. You know, you can hit hard, you can have good footwork, you can do everything perfectly, but if you don't have the stamina, you're going to be gassed out. It's real. It is legitimate. There's definitely levels to this thing. Watch the bag at 9:05, 9 minutes and 5 seconds. Right around there is when I start putting it all together, and you just watch how that bag moves. And I'm way less effort than I was throwing before. Super happy. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I give it just one of those days where just like training was awesome. And it's usually, you know, I was beating my head, you know, trying to get my squats, and just wasn't working, and I was getting down on myself and super depressed. Then I had, you know, a good squat day and a good bench day, and now I'm having a good training day, and things are just looking up. I'm feeling good about myself. You know, sometimes you just need a win. You know, there's a lesson in that. If you're banging your head against the wall and you're just trying to do something, and it's just not working, step back, do something else, something that you're good at, or something else that you need to do. Get an accomplishment or two, get your head right, then dive back in. And that's pretty much the way I've done it my entire life. But it's so easy to get stuck in it. You know, I get focused in. We all want to fix the problem. Like, this is an issue, I need to fix it now. And sometimes, you know, you don't get the answer until you take a break. It also helps to have other people to talk to. But even then, like, I wasn't hearing them. And it wasn't until I stepped away and I thought about everything, that's when it all clicked. And now it's just like, what a difference a day makes. I went from basically shutting out the world and being in a really dark place to being like the happiest I've ever been in a while. And I'm not manic depressive. I'm not one of those guys. But yeah, man, I'm ready to go, man. Ready to face the world. That's how I'm feeling today. Then watch me step outside and get hit by a bus or something. All right, I gotta get ready and get to work. So to wrap this up, anybody in Vegas interested, willing, want to train after end of March, 3 months, looking for a sparring partner, looking for someone to train with. Sparring is exactly what it sounds like. It's we two people that work together so we can get better, not trying to kill each other. And if there's multiple people, like the more the merrier. Same thing with weight training. That's an open invitation as well. I already got a couple guys that train with me during the week. The more the merrier. And I know a lot of people that follow me are in the Vegas area, so that's an open invitation to anybody. My wife's always looking for women to train with, so if any of you got wives, girlfriends, whatever, invite them, and we can hit me up. We'll talk. The only thing I wanted to mention, it was brought to my attention. My buddy West Coast Wolverine, he's still making unhinged rants. Like you guys got to check this guy's page out. Like, he is cuckoo for cocoa puffs, like sick. He's obviously obsessed, and he just keeps making video after video about me specifically. And like, whatever. Like, I don't care about that. But it was brought to my one of the videos he was talking about my wife, and he's saying that when she's ready for a real man, she can call him. I want to let you know, I showed that to my wife. And she asked me if you were trans, how the transition was going. She wanted to know if you were a woman going to man or which one were you, because she was confused when she initially saw you. So that should answer your question about like what type of male she prefers. Oh, God. It gave us a good laugh. I really appreciate that. I wanted to say thank you for that. Would it be egotistical of me to state that I am objectionably better looking than you are in like every metric? But I guess that's to each their own. I don't know. My wife says she prefers me, and as long as she's not pandering, I'll have to tell you, buddy. You can try hitting her up, see what she says. I don't think you're going to get anywhere. But all kidding aside, dude, that's crossing the line. Like, stop it, please, will you? I mean, it's one thing that you're making videos about me daily, but like when you start talking about my family, it's like, what kind of man are you? Like, really, that's what I gotta ask you. Like, what kind of man are you? I mean, you're acting like my 12-year-old son. No, my son doesn't even do this. Like, the kids, when they're fighting at school, the boys get into it, and they got bullies. They don't have fully formed brains yet. So they obsess about each other. Like, you're 50. You're a 50-year-old man. Like, it's weird. It's weird, it's creepy, and you kind of come off as a stalker. I mean, do you watch your own videos? Do you hear yourself? But on that note, I gotta get to work. If I got anything out of this, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. I'll see you guys on the battlefield.